Welcome back, everybody. John Crable here from My Small Business Blueprint. We've done a couple of videos with Andrew Clark from O'Reilly Law Offices here in Central Ohio. I want to thank him for his time first. But then I wanted to kind of take this from a different tact as well. So I'm 36 years old. I have 3 kids. What do I drive?
Minivan.
I drive a minivan, right? That's standard operating procedure. You? Minivan?
No, we went with a SUV that doesn't have built-in DVD and all the bells and whistles of a minivan.
So you're not on my level yet?
Not yet. I'll get there.
So what I wanted to kind of have a conversation about today was if in a couple years when I turn 40 and I go out and I buy a red Corvette, right? There is going to be a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart. I'm going to be proud, excited, things like that. But if I go in and I have my estate plan looked at, I'm not walking out the door feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. Is that?
Yeah, you walk out being reminded that one day you're going to die.
There, perfect, wonderful. But that doesn't mean that there's not an immense amount of value created by the work that you do in writing operating agreements, in creating wills and trusts and estate plans and things like that. So from my standpoint, can you talk a little bit about that value that you do create for people, making it more on a personal and not maybe not emotional level, but there has to be some type of connection.
Yeah. The underlying concept here is that almost none of us work just because we enjoy the work. That may be a huge factor, especially for small business owners. I mean, the draw of small business is that you do get to do what you love. But the underlying premise here is you're doing that because you want to make a difference. You want not only in your community but for your family. You want to create that financial stability. You want to create that multi-generational wealth. You want to be able to go out and buy that Corvette at 38 instead of 40.
I like it. Thank you.
And so as an attorney, what my goal is to try and look and see within your estate plan, within your business plan, how can we protect what you have, and how can we protect what you don't have yet? So I want to put you in a position to where that Corvette is being held in a way that your business can't end up with you losing that Corvette. I want to make sure that Corvette isn't going to be the cause of you losing your business. I want to make sure that all the pieces of your life are playing well together, so that when you pass away, when you decide to stop working, whatever the case may be, your family has the benefits of the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into it. And so some businesses create their own liability. There are certain types of real estate, certain types of equipment that are just dangerous. So it's important that self-storage units, for instance. If you have a self-storage unit and you own the real estate and you own the buildings and you're running your business all out of one LLC, and something goes wrong, let's say a gate happens to maim somebody, you could lose everything that's there. Whereas if you have those businesses, right, there's a business of holding and renting the real estate, there's a business of running the storage units, those things can be split apart, and you can actually create additional liability protection. You can give yourself an opportunity for additional insurance policies, and you can do certain things to try and increase the likelihood that one event isn't going to cause you to lose everything.
I think something clicked in my head, right? So I made the connection of there being something emotional wrapped around the purchase of a product or a service or anything like that, and obviously that's a Corvette in my case, right? But what it sounded like to me was the emotional component is put off into the future or put off onto other people so that they feel safe and secure. When we're talking about emotional purchases, that's a big part of it, right? Making sure that other people are taken care of. So I think that there's this concept of deferred enjoyment or deferred appreciation, where that's almost where you come into play. The work you put in now will pay dividends down the future.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things where I might walk across a balance beam that's 5-10 feet off the ground and not be too concerned that there's no net down there. But most people don't get into business hoping that their business is going to stay small forever. They want to grow.
Absolutely.
And so eventually you're going to be walking across this balance beam and you're going to look down and you're going to be hundreds of feet off the ground. And if there's no net at that point, you get a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
And at that point, it becomes difficult to take the time to set it up. It becomes more complex to try and figure out how those relationships are going to work, because you may have additional partners, you may have all sorts of things that have come up, and it becomes the thing that gets backburnered until it's too late. And once it's too late, once you've been sued, once that accident has happened,
can't undo it.
You can't go back in time and do it at that point. So it's, like I said, it's just one of those things where I take a lot of pride in being able to know that although there may not be any immediate payoff right now, if the worst case happens 5 or 10 years from now, my client's going to be sitting there and is going to be ecstatic that they made the decisions that they made 10 or 15 or 20 years earlier.
Yeah, and we've talked about this word or this concept a couple other times in this series, but trust, right? Finding somebody that you trust not only to set up in the here and now, but also protect what's coming down the line. So, well, Andrew, I really appreciate this. I think we've dealt with some more in-depth topics, but this emotional component has an immense amount of value to people out there. I just wanted to thank you for sharing your opinion on it.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and certainly if you ever have any needs, give me a call.
Awesome. So once again, if you need to find Andrew Clark at O'Reilly Law Offices, is there a website?
It is www.o'reillylawyers.com, and we've got offices in Pickerington and Worthington, so we can pretty much cover
all of Central Ohio.
All of Central Ohio, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, guys. Check in, and we'll be back in the future. Have a good one.